but I think we'll see a light. Oh, you see the yellow flashing?
Yep, I see it.
I think my official pause is over and we are live to go. So everybody, welcome to the 2021 Inkwell Beach Cannes Diversity Collectives virtual activation. We're so excited to be here with you in 2021. You know, we were here in 2020 in a live session. We brought it back, but literally this is like a prelude to our in-person event that will be coming up in August 10th through the 11th. We're taking, or August 10th through the 12th, we're taking everybody to Martha's Vineyard, to the original Inkwell Beach, so that we can bridge the connection between Inkwell Beach Cannes and Inkwell Beach Martha's Vineyard. We're so excited, so please make sure that you sign up and join us for that journey. We're excited to get things kicked off with our 3-day festival. We're excited with our partner who has joined us from Cannes Lions. We're going to talk about everything that's happened through 2020, how we're recouping, how we're continuing to build, anything and everything. But before we get started, I have to always say thank you to the amazing team that helped to pull this off. They're the folks who are behind the scenes that you'll also see in front of the camera in the days to come. So there's Laura Mignot, there's Lisa Singh, and there's Laura Fenton, who is also, Laura, did I butcher your last name? I'm bad at that. Laura Fenton, who is also helping us out this week. So thank you guys for all the hard work. We could not do this without any of you. So now we're getting ready. This is day one. Our first session is up, and I am here with the Cannes Lions team. We are super excited. The title of this is Where We Started, How It's Going. And I'm here with you to tell everybody the story. The first time that I ever went to Cannes Lions was in 2017 as a stowaway with one of my friends. And I can tell you that it changed my life. It was the best creative experience with over 16,000 people in attendance from all over the world. It was energizing. There was rosé flowing, there was sunshine, there was, C-suite executives, next gen people. It was amazing. And that during that time, I committed to making sure that people who look like me had the opportunity to come to Cannes Lions. It was one of those experiences where you see 16,000 people, but only 200 look like me. And the call to action that year was, how do we bring more people of color to this event, people from underrepresented communities? How do we make this a more inclusive environment? And to be honest, I thought it was a trick question. And I said, well, you just have to invite them. You have to provide access and opportunity for people to attend and show up. So I committed that year to bringing 5 young people back for 2019. And when I tell you guys, these young folks showed up and showed out, it was amazing. They changed the trajectory of the conversation. And I was committed to making sure that we had other folks who looked like them to have that same opportunity. So in 2019, we brought 25 young people back, and we hosted the first ever inclusion and diversity activation at Cannes Lions, and we called it Inkwell Beach, after the infamous beach of Inkwell and Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. So that is like the short story. It gets longer, I can share it, but I think you want to hear from our guests who have joined us today. First, we have Simon Cook, who's the managing director at Cannes Lions, or Lions, I think we've shortened it now.
Yeah.
We have Susie Walker, the VP of Awards and Insight, and we also have Kennedy Ogbanufe. We just went over that. You'll say it. The G is silent, but I do know that. So we have these great guests here that have joined us. And I really want you guys to give us an explanation so we can demystify what Cannes Lions is all about. Tell us where it began, what's the foundation, what is Cannes Lions?
Well, first of all, Adrianne, pleasure to be here with you today, and nice to be here to show support to everything that you do. That's a really big question. I'll give you the short history, and then hopefully a little bit about what we're doing today. So for those people that perhaps don't know, Cannes Lions was founded a long time ago in 1954, when the first lion was awarded. And it was actually founded at the time as a celebration of cinema advertising. And it originally took place in Venice, in St. Mark's Square of all places. And it later, over the years, found its home in the city of Cannes, of course. And in 1954, just one lion, just one award existed. And today, the awards that sit at the heart of our festival recognize the full breadth of creativity in marketing, in creative marketing. So you have print and press being celebrated, right through to things like platforms, products, IP, so the other end of the industry. And over time, for the festival, we've introduced content, we've introduced learning experiences, networking experiences, and increasingly it's somewhere where people now come every year to do business as well. So clients and brands are our biggest growing segment at the festival. And we know that they come, this melting pot of people come because they have a common belief, and that belief is that creativity is increasingly business critical and has the power to build business, it has the power to shape society, but also to drive positive change. And as you said, Adrianne, more recently, we have become Lions. That's our, mothership brand, if you like. And it's Lions because decoupled from the city, we are a year-round platform for everyone in the business of creativity. And increasingly, we provide learning opportunities throughout the year. So we have an advisory arm to our business. We have community experiences throughout the year. We firmly believe that creativity can no longer be tethered to that single week in June. And that was really confirmed from us last year. Of course, we couldn't put on the awards. We couldn't run the festival because of the global pandemic. And we had roughly a 6-week period to pivot and create a digital experience last year to rival the festival. And we didn't know how it was going to go, but it was incredibly reassuring because we attracted over 100,000 new people to our platform. And 80% of those people had never interacted with our brand, so never been to the festival. So it's a real turning point for us and a real learning, because it made us realize that we can democratize what we do and bring inspirational creativity to more people, which is really exciting, because let's face it, not everyone is going to have the opportunity throughout their careers to come to the festival itself. But so that's a very short history. We've been running for 67 years, but hopefully that gives you a bit of an insight of where we've come from and where we're at today.
No, I think that's really great. And, I did wonder, why did the Cannes drop from the line, the Cannes Lions piece? And that makes total sense. And being untethered, I think that's one thing that this pandemic did for all of us, is just to show how we're not linked to any one thing or any one place, that we can be creative and find spaces to be inclusive of others in a way that we had not been traditionally. And this is like a global platform. And, how are you guys using it to progress and create change? Like, what new and innovative things? I know you can attract 100,000 people, but are there new things that you're doing and building within the platform?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So, at Lions, we know that marketing actively shapes culture and society, and we kind of have this unique position in the industry, and we also have access to decades worth of data and the creative work, and of course this unique platform that is now kind of democratized. And we take our position really seriously, and we're far from perfect, but we try and use the platform to do 3 things. So in relation to kind of progress and diversity, I mean, the first is really obvious. It's the work. So we know that the work that wins has the potential to further enter culture and create real change. It's not just the global benchmark. The platform actually can accelerate that work too. And so when we award stereotype shattering work, we know that clients and agencies are encouraged to enter and create more work that's representative and captures that kind of nuance. But in order obviously to create that kind of work, you need a diverse team and different perspectives. So it's about having diverse teams behind the camera. And obviously we're coming to the work right at the end of the process, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a sort of position to play. And I don't know if you know, we have an award, the Glass. It's called Glass, the Lion for Change. We launched that in 2015, and it specifically rewards creative work that addresses the misrepresentation of gender in marketing communications. And the president this year is Bazoma St. John, and they're kind of judging the work as we speak now. And we're really excited to see another year of lion-worthy work in that. But, launching the Glass Lion really helped accelerate the conversation across the industry. But we know that real change isn't actually, it's not channel or subject specific. It's really everything. It's not just something that should be in a corner and kind of niche. So every year we have over 300 of the world's most successful creative and business leaders on our jury, and they choose the work that wins. It's not me and Simon and Kennedy choosing, it's them. And we're really clear that we don't want to celebrate work that objectifies people. So in 2017, we introduced guidelines for judging around representation in collaboration with Madonna Badger, who you may know, and the judging criteria sit across all the different disciplines, and they kind of challenge jury members to use empathy when analysing a piece of work, to encourage the jury to reflect upon how they might feel if the person portrayed was someone that they knew or that they care about. And we've really noticed, actually, since introducing that guidance, that jurors are much more empowered to raise issues of unconscious bias. And there really are an intersectional lens. It's not just gender, it is race, disability, ethnicity, age, sexual orientation, body type, other biases. So it's really everything we're asking people to think about. And the jurors are just much more empowered since we introduced those criteria, and we've actually since introduced them at our regional festivals and at our sister company as well, at the Walk Awards too. Another thing we've done, sorry if this is a long answer, but we were the founding partner in 2017 of the Unstereotype Alliance, which I'm sure you know. It was inaugurated at Cannes Lions, and it's an industry-led initiative convened by UN Women, but it really unites industry leaders, decision makers, creatives to end harmful intersectional stereotypes in advertising as well. And the proceeds that we take from the Glass Line, so you do have to pay to enter the Glass Line, but we don't keep the proceeds from that. We reinvest them in kind of research and thought leadership for the industry. And we've done lots of different things. So we've collaborated with the Gina Davis Institute and Gender in Media on research into the impact of stereotypes in the industry. We've co-funded some of Unstereotype Alliance work, but also some research with them. And then we've also partnered with the Fawcett Society in the UK, and we're releasing a report later in this year on intersectional stereotypes, the impact of intersectional stereotypes on children. But all of that is kind of in front of the camera, and we know obviously behind the camera is perhaps maybe more important. So it is our ambition to kind of support more thought leadership in that area. Couple more things that we do. Obviously, we've got the jury, and it's shocking to think only 7 years ago 20% of our jurors were female. In 2021, it's 51% women on the jury, 57% jury presidents, and we champion people of colour. In 2019, 41% of our jury presidents were non-white. In 2021, it's 37% of our juries too. And a lot of the conversation in the jury room about the work is really about authenticity and relevance to the brands and their audiences, and really key to being able to call that out and analyse it, raise that issue in the jury room is the diversity of the people in the room. And one president recently told us they think it's made a massive difference in the work that's now being awarded at Cannes, that's really shifted, which kind of makes complete sense. Obviously, if we have more diverse people choosing the winners, then obviously that's going to have an impact on the outcome. And then finally, the See It Be It initiative on talent career acceleration. I know you probably know about that, but we really recognise that women from all different types of backgrounds, either underrepresented in creative teams, or they're just not given the opportunities to step up in their department, let alone be put forward to be on the jury. And we recognise that a large percentage of women step away from the industry just before they're about to become a creative director or an ECD. And so we created See It Be It over 5 years ago to address this issue. So every year, women in this position from all over the world can apply to be part of the programme. We select around 15 women, fly them to the festival in Cannes, put them up. During the festival week, they're given an all-access experience. They make juries, speakers, go behind the scenes. They get mentoring experiences from real industry greats, and it really is something money can't buy. Even if you went to the festival every year, you wouldn't get access to the things that we provide with women. It's a really true career accelerator program. And many of them have gone on to take the next step, achieve really amazing things, and it's a kind of ongoing community that kind of support each other. But I guess in summary, what I'm trying to say is we use the platform to try and create change in a multifaceted way, but it's really complicated. It's a massive issue, a massive area. It's not just one front we can kind of tackle it on, and I don't think we're even nearly there. There's no finish line, There's definitely work for us to do internally as well as externally, but we try and do as much as we can.
That was a lot.
I'm
Susie.
sorry.
That was mind-blowing. So much stuff. So I think, just for the layperson tuning in to tap into what Lions is all about, previously known as Cannes Lions, it's really, and I'm summing sort of what I felt and what I experienced there, and then I'll just kind of ask questions as if I were stepping on to the cassette for the first time. Understanding, like when I first heard about Cannes, I thought it was a film festival. So you guys cleared it up. It was like the film back in the day of advertising, right? Is that correct? But then it turned into, good. So what are you saying?
That's right. So it started off celebrating TV and cinema advertising. There are now 28 different awards which celebrate the full breadth of creativity. So TV and cinema advertising, but then creative business transformation. So it's a real broad range of work being celebrated now. So
from 1 award to 28 awards, is that what? So you give out these awards, agencies can apply for them, and it's really like a global competition. So it's really like what I deemed as like the Oscars of advertising. So people can really understand the seriousness of what this winning a Cannes Lion Award, or now a Lion Award, is all about. And so then you mentioned jurors, like how do people, and the lack of diversity that was there, how did you guys go about evolving the jurors, or like how are they even selected? Like if I wanted to raise my hand and say I'd like to be a judge, is there an application fee? Am I selected? Is there nominating? Who nominates? How did the judges get chosen?
It's a really good question, Susie.
So it's complicated, but we have a global network of reps. So for every country in the world, there is a Cannes Lions representative, and it's usually a partnership organization. And what the rep does on behalf of us is gather up jury nominations. So this is one part of the process. So if you are an agency or a brand working in a particular country, if you're in the US, you go to the US rep and they collect all of the jury nominations, and anyone can nominate anybody for any jury, and you can either nominate for a particular jury or just to be on the jury. But we also do our own research as well, because we know obviously there's implicit bias in the people that will be pushing themselves forward, and also the people nominating will have bias as well in who they're choosing. So we also do our own research, and it's really important to us and key to us really being a neutral competition, because we are like the Oscars, but it's kind of, the judging is completely different, because it is judged by people in the industry in these intense groups, usually in rooms in Cannes over several days. And it can be 10 people making these decisions. And as you say, Adrianne, you win a Lion, it can change your life. It can change your entire career. Even getting shortlisted for Cannes Lions is an incredible achievement. So it's really important to us that the decisions that are made are, the right decisions. So we balance out all of the juries. We look at regional diversity. We look at race, ethnicity, disability, gender. And also time in career. So we try and have people who are quite new to the industry, and also people who have maybe been around quite a long time. So, and also obviously, there are a lot of companies that are owned by other companies in the advertising industry. So we make sure that we have a balance across each jury, and we don't have, say, half the jury from WPP, for example, that is evenly spread across all the juries. So it is a full-time job for two people all year to get the Cannes juries together, because as I mentioned, it's over 300 people. But yeah, wow. You can either contact us directly or go through the rep. But yeah, we actually really actively encourage people to nominate themselves and nominate other people as well. We're very open.
That's good to know. So anybody watching or listening, sign up. Can they sign up through the website to be nominated, or where do they go to be a part of the jury? Like, is it and how do you find your rep?
So it's on the website. Yeah, if you go to the website, and I think it's called Festival Representatives, I think is the name of the webpage. If you go there, you can find all the information you need. Yeah.
Awesome. So I think that's great. I think, from what I've experienced, and, again, why I actually got inspired and wanted to come, because I saw that energy of all of these different people from all over the world. It's just something like when you're there, it just snaps when you're connecting with all these creative people. And I think I left wanting to make apps, because I talked to some great folks who were doing some augmented reality thing. So everything. I wanted to make my own commercials. I wanted to, bring people back. You just really get inspired to do any and everything. So I think making that connection and having people have a clear understanding, demystify, if you will, the space of what Cannes Lions is all about, or what Lions is about. It's super helpful to everyone. I'm creative space, because we know in this industry, representation, feeling like you're included and belonging, and feeling like you belong is everything. And making sure we have diverse folks in the room, diverse activations. And that was one of the reasons that I formed the Cannes Diversity Collective's Inkwell Beach, was to have a space for people to feel like they belong. I tell the story that I thought I was creating a space for me there, but in actuality, people who didn't look like me, who are from all over the world, said it was a place of belonging, and they felt like, what a place to learn and have, more insight of what this creative space actually looks like. So, it is a space for opportunity. You just have to be willing to step in and just kind of fight for it, I think, right? You do fight. And to be honest, we had to, it's not a cheap trip. It's not a cheap, it's not, an easy thing. And, one of the things we wanted to do by inviting our ambassadors and CCDC scholars was to just sort of expose them to and get organizations to sponsor young people to attend, the festival as well. So that's been a huge thing. I know the first year we brought 5 young people, and 2 of them participated in the Roger Hatchwell Academy, 2 participated in the Creative Academy, and 1 was a ambassador. But I know you guys have 5 academies. If we talk about 4 or 5 academies, and we'll talk about the different ones that we can invite young people to attend. Can you just go over the academy piece for folks to understand, like the different ways and I guess age range that people can participate?
Yeah, of course. So we have the Roger Hatchwell Academy, as you say, which has been running for some time now, but also 5 other academies which are focused on different specialisms. So there's one around media, there's one for brand marketers. So depending on your specialism, if you go to the website and check it out, there is an opportunity to apply, so you can put yourself forward. It's geared towards younger people, so for people under 30. We only have 1 running this year because of the global pandemic, which is the Roger Hatchwell Academy, but we're hoping to reinstate the others. Fingers crossed that we return in 2022. Yeah.
And we know that, just some insight in my own experience with the Roger Hatchwell Academy, it is the most diverse, I think, academy that you have. You have people from all over the world who participate. I think only 1 person is chosen per country or something like that. It's like really incredible. So it really shows that there's a concerted effort to really diversify that. And, we know that the journey has been one that's been long and hard. And, I want to talk about that moment of diversity and building, what that looks like within Cannes Lions. I'm going to drop the Cannes part. I know you have to be untethered. So, okay, the Lions. I know it's been a long journey, right? Tell us about DEI journey as the leaders. I think people view the Lions as the, you create the standard in a way. People look to Lions as the organization that gives us a global view and perspective of what advertising, marketing, creativity is all about, and almost like how we behave and what we do. But I know we're all starting from a space of ground zero as we're learning and as things happen. But give us a little bit about that DEI journey within the Cannes Lions team and organization.
Yeah, sure. I'll take this one. So like most businesses, we have made progress, but there's still a very, very long way to go. We have been working hard to make sure that, as Susie said, our stages, our juries, and our platform as diverse as they can be. She also mentioned that over 40% of our jury members last year were people of color, but there's still some way to go. And within our leadership team, there's a massive lack of people of color within it as well. So there's a lot of work to do. Everyone is obviously fully aware of that. So within Lions, I run the DEI Change Committee. But as part of the next step of our journey, we really need to look towards abolishing the committee and really ensuring that rather than just a few people are pushing the agenda around D&I, is actually every single employee's job at Lions to put diversity and inclusion into their daily work, or at least into their awareness as well. So going forward, we're really trying to make sure that we work in a way to ensure that what we do externally is also reflected in our internal makeup, our structure, and also our culture as well. But for now, the next step is to really step up, to accelerate, and because of recent events, is even highlighted even more that we need to really accelerate and do more in every aspect of what we do as well.
So I'm going to say something controversial, all right? And you guys just flow with me. So typically, Kennedy, I know you've been with Lions for how many years? It hasn't just been in the last 2 years, right?
4 years now.
4 years. And we, it's a struggle that we all have. If we think about, when I asked about diversity, you're the Black person at Cannes Lions right now that's like, okay, I'll take that. But it's interesting that in an organization that it's the people of color who are always sort of given that moment to talk about DE&I. But I think something you said that's important. It's important for everybody to this DE&I to be embedded into everyone's kind of mental state and ethos, if you will, to tackle these issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and to support. It should come from the top all the way down. And you've probably been tasked with, as I think many Black people in organizations after the death of George Floyd, of building up their DE&I practice. And it's just not Lions, it's like every organization, I think, of if I'm honest, I'll say most organizations, DEI money was about to be on the chopping block. But when the death of George Floyd happened and everybody saw this, inhumane murder, the miracle money showed up, right? And I think a miracle movement showed up. And I think it's great for everyone to step in and actually start thinking about DE&I more. But I think it's going to be really more about the sustainability of it. And I know that you've done more than just DEI work at Cannes Lions. And I think it's commendable that you're able to still do that, as well as the other work that you've been tasked with that focus on creativity, that focuses on the type of development that you do. And I know you recently all had to experience this with the Roger Hatchwell Academy. It was in the news, so I think you guys are willing to talk about it. But there was an issue with Abraham, and I love Abraham, and forgive me, Abraham, for butchering the last name, Asaf, please say it right, Asafa, who I met 3 years ago as a leader of one of the leaders of the Roger Hatchwell Academy. But something recently happened between Cannes Lions and and Abraham. Can you guys share what happened? Has this situation been rectified? And clearly was a breakdown within the Cannes Lions space. And what are you guys doing to move forward with that? And I'll leave that to any of you guys to talk about.
Yeah, of course. Perhaps I can start on that, and Kennedy and Susie, feel free to chime in. So the context is that for many years, we run a series of academies. We touched upon it earlier. There are 6 in total. And our academies are run by very generous third-party educators, so real practitioners within the industry. And the Roger Hatchwell Academy specifically has been running for many years. And in recent years, it's been co-run by the founders of the pop-up agency. And Abraham is one of those founders. Now, at the end of last year, they decided to dissolve the agency that they worked for and end their professional partnership. And at that point, Abe's ex-business partner, who happens to be a white male, put forward a proposal for the future of the academy, and proposed, that he would continue to run it. And the proposal was good, and he was appointed to the position of dean. And that's where a really big misstep was made on our part, and our processes let us down, because Abe was not offered the opportunity to counter pitch for that position. And Abe also happened to be the only person of color in our lineup of deans who run the academies. So it's completely unacceptable. We are being very open and transparent about it, because it's obviously highlights an issue that we need to address. And we've since apologized to Abe, of course, and had a very positive, very constructive conversation. And we're pleased that he's really willing to stay very close to our journey now and our plans as we begin to do the work to make sure that something like this never happens again. And look, we've known Abe for over 10 years. He's been a friend of the festival for a very long time, and he's contributed to the brand in a very positive way. So recent events, like I said, have highlighted that we have work to do, like a lot of businesses. And so in order to immediately rectify that, I'll just go through some of the things that we're looking to do. So with the Roger Hatchwell Academy, which was the only academy to run this year because of the pandemic, it's now going to be co-run by a collective of academy alumni. So one of our former students from Kenya and one of our former students from Ecuador will be working alongside a course facilitator to bring that program to life this year, which we're very excited about. But what this really highlighted is that although we do a lot externally, Susie spoke a lot about that, Kennedy's touched upon it, we work really hard to ensure that our juries and our platforms and our stages are truly diverse. But if our commitment to DEI doesn't extend to every part of what we do and all of our processes, then it doesn't extend to any part of what we do. And that's been a real wake-up call for us. So we firmly believe that we need an expert and objective eye on this. So we're in the process now of recruiting a DEI consultancy or specialist agency, perhaps, who we want to work with long-term. And we're going to give them access to every aspect of our business, both internally and externally. And we'd like to work with them so that they can carry out a full audit of everything that we do, including all of our processes, our structure, our makeup, every aspect. And that RFP has just been completed and is out in the world now. And our public statements that we put out, we committed to completing a tender process within 30 days. So we're really keen to accelerate that process as much as possible. And as part of this, we want to be open and transparent, because we acknowledge that businesses mess up. This happens all the time. And so we want to be public about the process that we're going to go through. And part of the reason we're speaking today is, of course, to support you, Adrianne, one of our great partners, but also because we'd like to be held to account. If our learnings throughout this process can be shared in some way, then I think we're well positioned within the world to help take a leadership position on this and encourage others to go through a similar process. And look, we won't get it right. We'll make some mistakes along the way. I'm positive of that. But we'd rather do it with everyone's support rather than their skepticism. And the only way that we can do that is to be completely open and honest. So that's the situation so far.
Thank you for sharing that. And I know, externally facing, you're bringing in some people to, help with the consultancy, and you're sending out an RFP, I believe, I think you just mentioned. But internally, Kennedy, I know you're leading the Committee of Change. What are you guys doing internally to help with that as well?
Yeah, sure. So over the past year or so, we've done a number of things to really make changes towards focusing and shifting our culture. And to be frank, it really had to start with some very honest conversation about the culture and just being straight, talking about the nuances of being a person of color in any workplace, but also ours, of course. So we touched on things such as microaggressions in the workplace, lack of representation, code switching, hiring practices, and real career development, or the lack of it in some cases. So we absolutely left nothing really unsaid. And just the process of having conversation and people being heard and really showing genuine empathy for each other, I do feel people are now a lot more comfortable to bring their full selves to the office, which tended to be the problem in the first place. So off the back of our conversations, the things we're now doing internally is really implementing better hiring practices. And we have a holding company which is really supporting us along that journey as well. We created an internal platform which is really housing some amazing content and enables us to engage with creative assets that are very much geared towards understanding diverse perspectives. So we call it our Loop page. We also created our first ever podcast called We Should Probably Talk About This, in which it's really there to open conversations amongst different line team members to reflect and have a much more diverse dialogue on different issues facing our world. And that could be conversations with people at different levels of the organization. For Black History Month in the UK, we released a newsletter every single week that really shared interesting and educational content on Black history, as well as shining light on Black artists. We also housed a few interesting roundtable discussions, again, to create a safe space for people to chat, to talk about the content we shared via the email, but also to check in with each other. And what was quite interesting with those conversations is that naturally you started to learn more about your co-workers on a much more personal level. You started to hear about their family cultures, their histories, and really get to know the person you are working with, which is, again, all about building a culture where people are just a lot more comfortable being themselves and bringing themselves to the office, which I think is incredibly important as well. We also launched a diversity calendar. So it's easy for people to refer to cultural events taking place all around the world. We don't just have the Queen's birthday to celebrate here in the UK. There's a variety of different cultural events taking place. We had Ramadan a few weeks ago. And again, it's all geared towards recognizing different people within the organization as well. And lastly, last but not least, we've just launched our first ever Lions Work Experience program, which is going to kick off in September. And that's geared towards, to your point, Adrianne, the challenge of bringing unrepresented people into the limelight, understanding the organization, understanding the industry as a whole, and allowing a young professional to really start to navigate their career. First of all, being aware of the Cannes Lions Festival, how it exists, and the different opportunities that we can expose them to. It's something that, we're quite fortunate to be in this position, but we really want to make sure that we can take advantage for those in our community, for the young kids coming out of university or from college, and really tapping into people who would not have been aware of Cannes Lions without these sort of things. So those are just one of the few things that we're really trying to push. Of course, we know it's a journey, but I'm confident that it is something that the business and everyone in it is really looking forward to make progress with.
That sounds great. It sounds like you really do have this is my term that I use all the time, a coalition of willing folks. And I think, it's good that you guys were transparent about even like the leaders in the organization still have work to do in a journey that they must continue on to create the sustainable change that we want. And I think if everyone is able to look to the Lions family to see, hey, it's a journey. We're working through it. We mess up, but we can at least look internally and fix it. And that creates the guidelines that everyone else has. So you guys have like the global consistent message and theme and work, and then everyone else can make it locally relevant for them in terms of their markets, where they are, their groups and agencies. So we do commend, you stepping in, course correcting, and finding ways to make things better. So what's next? Anything happening? Coming up in, I know, 2 weeks, something's happening. I don't know. You guys tell me about that.
It's
Little
a small thing. We've got a Cannes Lions Live, which is happening in 2 weeks, which is a little scary. And we'll see the return of the awards, which of course we weren't able to have last year. So we're very excited about that. The Cannes Lions Live is shaping up to be a really good show. There'll be obviously all of the awards, lots of awards content, behind the scenes information, insights. We will have all of the usual inspirational talks and sessions that you would expect from the live event itself. And then also a very exciting virtual networking opportunity. So it's a chance for the community to reunite and to be entertained and just to take a moment to be amongst your peers and reconnect with people. So lots to look forward to. And it is completely free for Lions members. But Susie, perhaps you could tell us a bit more about the awards, because I think that piece is going to be really exciting.
I mean, yeah, very busy time of year for us in awards. Very busy time for us in 2 years. So during the usual Cannes Lions dates, we'll be running Cannes Lions Live, as Simon said, and Lions members will have access to a dedicated live channel that features nothing but the work, just the work. So we'll kick off every day with an award show. Being from Cannes, and then following that we'll have behind the scenes kind of deep dives into the work that won. So it's 1 hour program for every single lion, so that's 28 lions, and we're filming those in the cities where all of the presidents are. So we're in Sao Paulo, we're in Hong Kong, we're in Kansas City, we're in Nashville actually, and we'll have sessions with commentary from the jury presidents. We'll be beaming in some of the winners as well, and also some of the other jury, and we'll be really diving into the work. And at the end of the day, there's a daily wrap up as well. So if you can't catch the 9.5 hours before that, you can literally just watch the 15 minutes at the end of the day and work out what happened that day.
No, that sounds amazing. Go ahead, Simon. I'm sorry.
I just had to add to that as well. My day-to-day job is I lead the sales team for I Love the Work platform. So the platform is going to have all of the shortlisted and award-winning work, which will be available after the awards show is over. And what's interesting about it is that we know that the winning work plays a massive hand in shaping society, shaping the future, and really shaping the industry as well. The winning work this year will join over 67 years, I believe, of worthy winners, data, insights, and analysis that is really going to be sitting in our platform. And for us, it really provides a great opportunity for us and our clients to take a deep dive into the very best work from all corners of the world. So exposing ourselves to the cultural nuances and the insights that goes into the work creating support from different backgrounds, not just massive advertising from the UK or from the US, but work from Asia, from Africa, from LATAM, all really coming together and allowing all of us to be a lot more sort of diverse in our thinking when it comes to creativity. So, I'm, as you can tell, really, really sort of proud to be part of that process within the business, and obviously proud with where the business is going within itself about diversity as well.
That sounds amazing. So you mentioned, Simon, that it's free for Cannes Lion members. If you're not a member, how do you get access to this?
You just need to go to our website. Go to our website and check it out. It's recently launched. And you should know that if you are a winner, so if you have ever won a lion in our 67-year history, then membership is 100% free. So get in and check it out.
Yeah, we'll have to let our friends know from Agami consult the Agami group, who won. I think they were one of the first African-American agencies that won in conjunction with their work for Procter & Gamble. So we'll let them know, and that's a part of the Lions history. The Agami group, first African-American organization to win what is it, the Grand Prix Award.
It was the Grand Prix, yes.
The Grand Prix, the creme de la creme, the Grand Prix Award for Lions Award. So I think we are at time. Thank you so much. Maybe we can convince you guys to give some of our Cannes Lions listeners passes to the festival, the virtual one. Just let me know. I'll reach back out to you.
That's
a hint, Simon. Please.
Let's talk.
Give us some passes so we can share with our folks. But thank you guys so much for joining us during this time through the first kickoff session of CCDC's Inkwell Beach virtual session. I think this was a great session to have. We sort of demystified what Lions is about, this whole space and time, and why it's so important for diversity, equity, and inclusion to be a part of this festival and baked into and embedded into the entire organization. So Susie Walker, Simon Cook, Kennedy Ogbanufe, thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to building and continuing our relationship. So we're asking everybody to come back at 11 o'clock. Our next session starts, being sponsored by VMLY&R. It's going to be fantastic. So thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you at 11. Susie, Simon, and Kennedy, we will see you the next time.
Thank you very much for having us. Appreciate it, Adrianne. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.